T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Deadline day is done. We didn't think that deadline day was going to be leading to anything. Like yesterday at this time, we were here having a conversation. I was like, will there be a surprise signing today? Well, there was a surprise signing. Marcel Sabitzer, and I tell you what, I'm pretty happy about that signing. Good morning to everybody on Facebook, on YouTube. Good morning to everyone who's a member or anybody just subscribing. Look, what a time to be alive. I don't know why I'm saying that. I really don't. But look, I'm going to really enjoy this chat this morning. We're going to run through the official announcement, well, the official confirmation of Sabitzer, because he was announced last night about 10 past 12 by Manchester United. I need to get my mic into a better position. Around about there. Look at that on the wall, by the way. How good is that? That's the latest from Stan Chow, the latest cover of United We Stand. Of course, the long-standing Manchester United fanzine run by Andy Mitten. If you don't subscribe, go and help them and subscribe. But I love that one. That's one of my favourite Stan Chow pieces of artwork. An ode to Marcus Rashford and an ode to the season that he is having. But we are here this morning to speak about our new midfielder, to speak about our new signing, Sabitzer. I'm going to be speaking about his first comments as a United player, what John Murtough said about him. We're going to run through and discuss it all as a community. I'm going to speak about where he's going to slot into this team. How, look, right? He's not going to be a like-for-like replacement for Christian Eriksen, but in many, many ways he is. And there are certain aspects to his game where I would say he's actually better than Christian Eriksen. And I'll explain that in the comments. But who's down here? Let's have a look. Paula, good morning to you. Jonesy, good morning to you. We've got Teresa, Reggio. We've got Dennis. Alex, how you doing, buddy? Andy McKinney. We've got T. We've got Ant. By the way, Ant, I saw that you were striking. To anybody who's striking today, teachers and anyone else, I'm not sure who anybody else is. Big up to everybody striking in the UK, whether you're nurses, paramedics, firefighters, criminal barristers, teachers, any civil servant. You have got my full support. Power to the people, because something has to change in this country. So, yeah, big support to anybody who is striking. And hopefully some sort of change will come off the back of it. As Alex says down there, complete and utter solidarity to them. So I want to say, hopefully it goes well. Dennis, you're saying that the Fernandes fee makes the Anthony fee look like a bargain. We'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. And just because I'm feeling generous this morning, yeah, go on then. I will give you a shout out. Big up to you, James. Let me know where you're watching from. Game of Beans, you're saying your wife and sister are striking. Yeah, as I said, big up to everybody this morning. I think it's important to be saying that. Let's jump in though, and let's talk about Marcel Sabitzer. Yesterday when we were on the live stream, we didn't know whether we would. I was like, well, surely United should at least have a conversation around Ryan Gravenberch. Now, we went to Bayern Munich and we went to a different midfielder that I didn't think we were going to be going after. But I'll tell you what, there is a lot of logic to this signing. Slinky, let me know where you're watching from, dude. I'll try and give you a shout out as we go through the stream. But let's run through the official announcement and the first words from Marcel Sabitzer as a Manchester United player. This was as I said, the announcement that came last night at 10 past midnight. No, I wasn't going live after that. It was a long old day yesterday. It was a long old day. I tell you what, isn't it weird how smooth it kind of felt with Sabitzer? From, I believe it was around about 1:30, where the first story came from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports in Germany. And then 7 hours later, he's in Manchester having his medical. All smooth. Everything done nice and clean, nice and quickly. I was like, it's not what United typically do. Let's read through the official announcement and Sabitzer's first comments then. Manchester United is pleased to confirm that Sabitzer has joined the club on loan from Bayern Munich until June 2023. Look at that. Didn't realise he had that many appearances. 443 club appearances. Obviously, he was captain of Leipzig. And I watched the video this morning. Well, I didn't watch it this morning for the first time, but you'll remember that game that happened, the game against Leipzig, where we got absolutely spanked away from home. 3-0 down within 30 minutes, I think it was. Sabitzer got 1 direct assist, also pretty much as 2 assists in that game. He really made our midfield look very average. That's because they were very average at that. I think we have Matic and McTominay in the midfield there. But Sabitzer, he's got plenty in his locker, and we'll speak about that from a tactical perspective in a bit. Let's run through his comments down here. This is what he said as a United player. He said, sometimes in life, you have to make quick and important decisions. From the moment I heard about this opportunity, I knew it was right for me. I'm a competitive player. I want to win and help the club achieve its aims this season. I feel that I am at my peak as a player and that I can contribute a lot of experience and energy to the squad. I'm excited to start with my new teammates and manager and to show my qualities to Manchester United fans. I'll be completely honest. I've got a lot of time for what he's saying there. Let me quickly pull up the stream here, making sure I've made. Oh man, every day. It's it. Jay, gifting 10 memberships, man. Chris, Moses, Mugisa, Cato, Dio, James, gifted, funnily enough, and Jules. Man, what a don. Thank you very much to Jay. And as I said yesterday, I say every day, your support of this community is allowing me to start bringing people in, to reinvest into this channel and community to make it even bigger and better. But those comments there from Marcel, I feel that I am at my peak as a player. And he is, well, according to the, when we say players are at the peak, he's what, 28? That is considered quite literally the peak of a midfielder, I think. You're looking at around about somewhere between 25 to 29, I think is considered roughly the peak years of a footballer. He's slap bang in the middle of that. And there's obviously, well, if your name's Paul Merson, for sure, you're looking at Marcel Sabitzer and going, oh, Man United are panicking here. He can't even get into the Bayern Munich team. He must be a shit player. Whereas in reality, Bayern Munich have got Goretzka. They've got Kimmich. They've got, Musiala's probably even dropping into sort of the attacking midfielder positions for them this year. I don't know what Thomas Muller's doing, but maybe he drops in as a number 10 too. They are stacked. Gravenberch can't get a sniff. He's not a bad player. It's just at Bayern Munich, they have so much quality in that squad. He's hardly been able to play. So what United are hoping here, and I suppose by the sounds of it, what Marcel Sabitzer is hoping for. He's saying he's at his peak of his player and he can contribute a lot of experience. And his buzzword, not mine there, energy. It's a big thing that he's going to bring to this team. But if we can help Sabitzer refine that Leipzig form, where he was Leipzig's captain, where he was part of that team under Nagelsmann, that Leipzig team was lighting Europe up, man. That was a team that had Nkunku, I think. They had Timo Werner left by that point. He probably did. But they were really tearing it up. And he was a big, big part of it. And he says he's at a peak. He said he's more than happy to come here. His words, not mine. What did he say? The moment I heard about an opportunity like this, I knew it was right for me. I'm going to go down there and see what you're saying about Sabitzer. What do you think? What's your gut instinct telling you about him? Do you think he's going to be a really important player for Manchester United this season? Do you imagine he's going to sort of drift in and out of certain games and then by the end of it go, well, it was a decent enough loan spell, but look, we'll probably won't sign him on a permanent deal? Or do you think that he could, well, establish himself, and all of a sudden Manchester United, even though we don't have the option to buy, so it's just a straight loan, 6 months. There's no option to buy him. But if he plays that well, then I think United will try. Same thing with Weghorst. Why not? If both of them can earn themselves a position, absolutely. Matthew, you're saying, can he play tonight, Sam? I very much doubt he can play tonight. And I don't particularly think he needs to. We get him in for Crystal Palace at the weekend. And he should be able to play Crystal Palace at the weekend, by the way. He was registered. Everything was done in time. So I see absolutely no reason. He said he's fit enough. Manchester United, I think he had part of his medical at Old Trafford, but also United were told by Bayern officials about the fitness of him. I think he should be in there for the Crystal Palace game. Paul, you're saying, look, his quality is better than Eriksen. I'll speak of it. Look, I've got a video that's going out in 45 minutes, right? On the tactical side of Sabitzer's game. I'm not going to be saying he's better than Eriksen because I think Christian Eriksen is an absolutely wonderful footballer. But what I would say about him is there's a lot of similarities to their game. Christian Eriksen is somebody who definitely is better overall as a ball progressor. Christian Eriksen is better with those final balls into the box, but Christian Eriksen is one of the best in the world at that. He really, really is. Sabitzer can do that, though. You go and look back at his performance against United when he was playing for Leipzig. There's so many different examples of it. He's got a very good passing range. Short passing, medium and long. He can find balls over the top. He's got good vision. He's got good execution. The thing that he has, right, that Eriksen doesn't have, and that's why I highlighted that word there, energy. If there's one thing we can say that's definitely happened with Christian Eriksen in the team, is that he tires in the last 20, 25 minutes of the game. It happens every time. It's not a criticism of him. It's just a reality. Christian Eriksen's brilliant, but when it comes to the 60, 70 minute mark in the game, he does tire a little bit. Sabitzer will do the opposite. This midfield trio, I'm going to speak about it in a little bit, but of Sabitzer, Bruno, and Casemiro, there's not going to be many midfielders that will be able to outwork that midfield. There's going to be a relentless amount of energy inside this United midfield, and that's really going to help us. And certainly, like, for example, away at Barcelona, that will really become apparent, I think. Jibak, there's a couple of super chats here. Let me read these out. Sabitzer is a solid first-team signing for top clubs in Europe. Could easily be as impactful as Eriksen. If we buy him cheap in the summer, we'll be ace. Well, I think Bayern paid around about 20 million euros-ish, I think, from Leipzig. And they've obviously got Gravenberch there. And they've still got Goretzka. They've still got Kimmich. I don't know whether Goretzka's going to be leaving. Is he on a free transfer? Can't remember. Either way, they've got quality. And if Sabitzer can find himself a new home at Manchester United, where he's quite literally a central player, then I think he'd very much like that move. I suppose it all depends on how he gets on. AM, you're saying Chelsea have been like the wheelchair guy from Little Britain, blindly pointing at things, saying, we want that one. Want that one. Big up Little Britain. Remember when Little Britain got taken off? I think it got taken off the BBC and got put back on. Old school. Let me see. There's a few more comments. I'm going to read some out down here. Jules, you're saying he offers different dimensions. Yeah, he does. There are similarities to the game between Eriksen. I'll tell you what, right? This is the big thing about the signing of Sabitzer, right? Is the profile, the shoe fits again. It's why I understood the Weghorst signing and the Sabitzer signing. It's exactly the same. There's quite a lot of profiles. Again, it's a thing I run through in my tactical video. When you sit there and you put Christian Eriksen and Sabitzer alongside each other and you look at the strengths of their game, there's a lot of similarities to their profiles. Sabitzer has certain aspects where he's better than Eriksen. Energy, defensive work rate, tackles in the final third. There's going to be things that he's better at than Eriksen is. And there will be things that we will miss from Eriksen. I don't know how United's midfield setup is going to be now. I think we said it in the video yesterday, and I kind of stand by it. I imagine Casemiro is now going to be the man who drops deep to receive the ball from our two centre-backs. When we push forward and our fullbacks overlap and they become the inverted fullbacks, the modern style that Ten Hag is using, it's kind of fundamental to his football. Christian Eriksen's been that player to drop alongside the two centre-backs. I think now that's going to be Casemiro. And Sabitzer is going to be the person who plays in front of Casemiro. And therefore, it brings it a little bit further up the pitch rather than being the person tasked with bringing it out from defence. Another super chat here. Let me read this out. Phil, how you doing, buddy? You're saying hopefully it's the last transfer window under the Glazers. Mate, we've got the green and gold on there. And yeah, imagine that. I think United somehow genuinely have had a reasonably successful January transfer window. Given, it's honestly, it's like a 10 out of 10, given the circumstances. Given the fact that we had no money, you couldn't buy a player, and the only thing you can do is get loan signings. It feels like in that scenario, it feels like we've made the best out of a bad situation. And it has to be the last time. What Chelsea are doing, what Chelsea have done previously, and Chelsea are continuing to do, it's dangerous for the rest of football. It really is. I mean, look, I can put it up here. I was going to speak about it later. Let me pull this one up now. Now that we quickly mentioned it, I'm going to be speaking about it later on as well. But look at this. This is the Premier League spend in 2022. Brighton, by the way, are 100 mil in profit, and they're still playing as well as they're playing. Incredible. But look at Chelsea, blowing everybody out of the water. I'll speak about that a little bit later and the dangers of it. Oh, nice to see you there, buddy. You're saying, look, he offers versatility. He can play deep on the left, on the right. Stamina. He's got some drive too. When we're seeing out the game, Fred can come on and Bruno can stay central. It all kind of fits. Ten Hag, we've got Weghorst in. We can press more from the front. Sancho's coming back tonight. I can't wait for that. We're going to be speaking about that a little bit later on. Bruno, he's aggressive in the press. Sabitzer will now be pressing in that final third. I imagine with Sabitzer in the team, expect Manchester United to be winning the ball a little bit higher up the pitch than we were with Christian Eriksen, because we've got him in the midfield instead of Eriksen. Eriksen didn't have that energy to sort of cover. Defensively, we should be a little bit more secure. It was, I wouldn't say it was easy to pass around Eriksen, but he didn't have that pace to combat the midfield that when teams sort of went at Eriksen. He couldn't, it's not his style of play. Sabitzer can cope with that. Now, an interesting point, if we go over to Bayern Munich's announcement here, this is what Hassan Salihamidzic said. He's a board member. He said, United expressed an interest in Sabitzer at the beginning of the week. So we don't know whether that was, I mean, that might be Monday. And as I said, I felt that Manchester, we spoke about it on the stream, didn't we? On Monday, I was like, look, if this injury to Eriksen is maybe more serious than we think it is, I think United must be doing work behind the scenes. And given how smoothly it went with Sabitzer, obviously that work paid off. And he said, look, United expressed interest at the beginning of the week. Marcel told us he would like more playing time, and he's confident he'll get that at United. After consultation with Julian Nagelsmann, we accepted the request and we've loaned him. We wish him every success for the second half of the season. And then that's a little photo there of him saying goodbye to his Bayern teammates before he did make the move. And then the man himself got straight on a plane. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in a United shirt. The biggest thing I think he's going to bring is a massive injection of energy. A massive injection of defensive energy and attacking energy as well. That's what I mean. I'm not saying, man, he's not. I was speaking to my mate Joey before, and he was saying, look, he's not peak Iniesta. He's not peak Iniesta. No one's fucking saying he is. But given that at the beginning of yesterday, we were having a conversation about how screwed our midfield is because Christian Eriksen's out, McTominay's injured for a few weeks. The only two fit central midfielders we've got are Casemiro and Fred. The options look far, far better. Dudley, it's a good point there. We're looking at a previous captain of RB Leipzig, a very, very good RB Leipzig team. And he's 28 years old. I'm just, as I said, I'm not used to Manchester United conducting and operating smartly as a football club. I'm not. I'm used to us just getting things wrong. But as I said in my stream yesterday when we were doing the Here We Go for Fabrizio, this is what happens when you've got joined up thinking. When you've got Ten Hag who's leading with the vision, and you do have people with John Murtough who are clearly listening to Ten Hag and kind of executing what Ten Hag is asking of them, and they're doing it well. I'm looking forward to watching him play, man. I really, really am. And I tell you what, I think this is the photo here. That midfield trio there, it's going to be really, really exciting to watch. It's a very, very balanced midfield, whilst at the same time, it's going to have a relentlessness to it that I don't think we've seen in a long old time. Casemiro will, of course, be the anchor of this midfield. When you've got Casemiro and Eriksen, you've got Bruno. Casemiro, I imagine now, as good as he's been going forward, and he is, he's got, what, 5 goals and 4 assists this season? I don't particularly think we're going to see Casemiro that much. I think you might see Casemiro just drop a little bit deeper now and allow Sabitzer and Bruno to operate more as 2 proper number 8s in front of him. And that Casemiro can be involved and just sweeping like he was for Real Madrid. I'm excited about it, man. I really am excited. Of course, there will still be plenty of game time, by the way, for Kobbie Mainoo and Zidane Iqbal and Fred, because McTominay is currently injured. Eriksen is now injured until the end of the year. We've got games every 3 days until the middle of March at the very least. We're going to need everybody inside this squad. And Matt, I said this yesterday, didn't he? Really feels like a Rangnick type signing. I believe, I might be wrong in saying this, because I don't want to say this with utter confidence, but I believe that Sabitzer was with RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga second league when Rangnick was there, and was one of their key players who helped them get promoted and come through and then emerge as that team. And he was one of Rangnick's big players there. As I said, I think he scored in Rangnick's first game as Austria manager as well. It really does feel like a Rangnick type signing. Shepo, you're saying that what happened to Scott? I'll speak about that a little bit later in the show, but apparently he's going to be injured for a few weeks. James is saying, is he a cover for Savic in the summer? He is. I think that's quite a fair comparison in terms of the player. Quite similar to Milinkovic-Savic. He's certainly got an attacking threat to him. He has got a ferocious shot. Very good at a set piece too. Can pass the ball, short, medium, and long. Defensively, very sound. Got the work rate. That's what I mean. He's not an Iniesta. He's not prime in all of those positions, but he really is quite an all-round midfielder who can kind of add and contribute to pretty much every aspect. You're saying, how far have we come in 6 months? Oh, it's a long old way, man. 3 powerful midfielders. Yep. Look, Alex, I know that. That's kind of fair enough. Maybe we will see that. Maybe you'll see Casemiro going forward, Sabitzer dropping a little bit deeper to protect him in behind. And maybe that is correct. Henry, I wouldn't rule it out, man. You're saying you don't think he's going to start at the weekend. But if he's fit and he's ready, then why wouldn't he? And I suppose this is a big test. And this is what's probably impressed me so much about Weghorst at this point, is how quickly he's settled in. It kind of looks like he knows the Ten Hag style of play straight away. And he doesn't really have to coach it to him because it's kind of natural to his game. Sabitzer, given what he's done at Leipzig previously, he's used to that pressing style. He's used to going on the front foot. But maybe he won't be quite used to it. He won't be. He'll be used to the Nagelsmann style of play rather than Ten Hag's, although there are some similarities in the two. It depends how quickly he can settle in as to when he'll start and how much that naturally his game suits Ten Hag's. But given, as I said, that Weghorst did that, I'm hoping that Sabitzer can too. And again, that's the reason why I'm excited about it, is because that profile matches, the odds of him having more of an impact increase. And I always compare it to when we signed Ighalo. It's not because I got an agenda against Ighalo, but we didn't sign Ighalo because he fit any sort of plan. We signed Ighalo because we were desperate for a striker, and we would have taken anybody. Just as long as you were a striker, you could come in. He scored a couple of goals. Good. But Weghorst was signed not only because we needed a striker, but to a plan. Sabitzer was signed not only just because we needed an attacking midfielder to cover for Christian Eriksen, but to fit a plan as well. And that's what's making our signings hit the bullseye a little bit more. That's why we've had success, because players have been bought for a specific set of reasons to fit a specific set of style of play. It's working. Hopefully Sabitzer does the same. Engine of the park and scores worldies. Andy, you're saying he's going to score against Crystal Palace. Teresa, that will forever be one of my favorite interviews with the guy, the German journalist outside. I think it was outside Bayern's training ground when he was describing how he shoots like a horse. Mark, I'm enjoying reading your comments out. I'll read a few more. I think in some games they'll stick him in the middle, but possibly freedom in smaller teams. They will switch between each other. It's shaping up well. There's going to be different, I suppose, setups and shapes that we could use. But I would say one thing here. As much as I'm full of optimism, the one thing I would say here is that we're still one injury away now from the midfield looking weak. You've got to hope that these three stay fit. That's what I would say. We have to hope that all these three stay fit. Odds are they won't. I mean, Bruno Fernandes is probably Bruno will. Bruno's missed what, like 2 games in? I still knows how long. Bruno's fitness and injury record is insane. Casemiro, though, we still can't replace him, and we won't be able to do that until the summer. So fingers crossed. There's no jinx in it, Anthony. But this is a conversation that needs to be had. I do have optimism. I think we're in a far stronger position here, but at the same time, we are a little bit wafer thin. So it's going to be interesting to see again how Ten Hag manages this tonight against Nottingham Forest. There will be changes, right? How are we going to do it across the course of the season? It's Barcelona. Having Sabitzer in this squad means we've got a far better chance against Barcelona than we would have had if he wasn't here. That's what I think anyway. Let me go down here. Hey, look, touch wood indeed. Touch wood indeed. I don't actually know, Michael. Let me have a quick look. It's injury history. Let's have a look. Let me pull this up for you here on the screen. It's not a case of jinxing it. It's just a case of having a conversation around it. All right. So don't have a go at me. This is his injury record here. You can see the longest period he was out for was 95 days with a shoulder injury back in 2018-19. He's hardly missed a game, really. Most he's ever missed is 6. He missed what? Missed a month towards the tail end of last season. Injury concerns, injury history, looks pretty good. Good. It's nice to know. Oh, I'll speak about Tuanzebe in a minute. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Oh, man. Jeez, 3 days before I forgot about that. It's crazy. What we've got coming up here is crazy, but also our own fault-ish. That ridiculous penalty against Real Sociedad when it hit Martinez and then bounced up onto his arm. That was the reason that we finished in this position. That's the reason we've got these 2 games. Chrissy is saying maybe today start Martial. I very much doubt we'll see Martial starting, but I do think we'll see him in the team. Carl, we will be seeing Sancho in the game, in the squad tonight. Erik ten Hag has confirmed that. Henry, do you think we'll go after De Jong again? I can't rule it out. I really can't rule it out. I'll be completely honest. Because I think Ten Hag if it's not going to be De Jong that he signs, he's just going to try and find somebody who's as close to De Jong as possible. So why wouldn't he go back after De Jong? That's what I think anyway. Financially, if we give Barcelona what they want, they'll sell him. They absolutely will sell him. Carl, you're saying, do you think Ten Hag will go strong tonight and make changes at half-time and play a lot of younger players? I'll run through my starting 11 just towards the end of the show. But I'm excited, man. I am. I think this is a very shrewd signing. I think this was as good as Manchester United probably could have done, given the short time frame, to replace Christian Eriksen, who was out for 3-4 months. I think we've done well. I understand. I think it's a good, smart signing. And I feel that he's, as he said there, right, it's written down there, he feels like he's at his peak as a player. We haven't just signed somebody who's over the hill. That's important as well. Looking forward to seeing what he can bring. Signings feel strategic for theirs. That's a very good comment there from Portis. That's exactly what I'm trying to, suppose, articulate in a load of waffle. Everything feels like it slots into a plan. Like you can go, oh yeah, I kind of expected that, or something similar. It's a big change, and that's something nice that happened. That hasn't happened at this football club for a long time. Right, there are so many things that we need to talk about today. What I want to quickly say is, let's have a look here. We've got just over 2,500 of you watching right now, which is wicked. Can all of you please take 1 second, just drop a like on the video. I'd love to have you as part of the community as well. Make sure you subscribe. I'll be back here later on today. 3 videos today, including this one. We've got the the tactical video going out at 11 a.m. today. I'll be here after the Forest game with my match reaction too. Let's run through everything else that happened yesterday because it was such a busy day with Sabitzer. Maybe you didn't look. Maybe you just kind of got lost. Now, a move that happened is Axel Tuanzebe. He joined Stoke City on loan until the end of the season. And I believe that Axel Tuanzebe's contract runs out in the summer. So I think we may have seen the last of Tuanzebe in a United shirt. And unfortunately for him, it's injuries, man. injuries. Remember, I think he made his debut, was it away at Arsenal when he played in like holding midfield. Remember when he had that performance away at PSG against Mbappe too? The guy's got plenty of talent. The guy's a supreme athlete. But injuries hit him at the time when he was going to have his opportunity to progress. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing him play in the United shirt again, which is genuinely a real shame. Deshaun Bernard, he joined Portsmouth on loan. Good luck to the lad. Don't really know what else to say about that. But there's quite like we spoke about yesterday. Like Charlie McNeil, I think, to Newport County. Now you've got Bernard to Portsmouth. You've got Shadashura Tire's gone to Bolton. You've got United have done quite a few loans. Loans we didn't do actually, right? We can have a little conversation about this. Is we didn't send Elanga out on loan and we didn't send Williams out on loan. What's your thoughts and reactions on that? Elanga, I spoke about it yesterday. I said, look, I think Ten Hag feels like his squad's not deep enough to let Elanga go. And I think Elanga's not good enough from a technical perspective, but I think there's a lot of teams that would get a very decent player and would probably get more out of him than we are, simply because he doesn't fit our style. But Elanga stayed. He's going to get rare minutes. He might come on in the last 10 to 15 minutes of games if we simply need a runner up front. Vincent, you're saying he's got a part to play. I think I've just explained what I feel his part to play is. I don't particularly feel he's going to get that much game time. Brandon Williams, I think the same goes for him. You've got Malacia, who's second choice left back behind Luke Shaw. You've got Wan-Bissaka, who's second choice left back behind Delo. He's at the very minimum third choice at both left and right back. Don't think he's going to get much game time. I think probably in an ideal world, I think United would have loaned him out. But no, he didn't get that move. Something I found quite interesting here, just a little short conversation. Manchester United have done this, which I don't know whether, I don't think it's completely innovative because I think some lower league teams do this already. But Joe Hugel and Sonny Aldrefri, I don't actually know who he is. Anyway, Joe Hugel, they're joining Altrincham on loan, but they will continue to train with United and be available for the under-21s as well as Altrincham. So that's a way to, I suppose, get a little bit of everything. Have your cake and eat it, effectively. Training with United, playing with the under-21s, whilst at the same time having someone else you can play for. More minutes, more development, anything to help these youngsters bridge that gap before loan spells, to bridge that gap towards first-team football. So I hope it works out for Joe, because he is a cracking goal scorer at under-18s level, mate. And it is the competition level is just poor. It really is. There's nothing you can do about it because the best youngsters just get snapped up and they get accelerated into the first team far quicker. So yeah, the quality is not that good. You're saying spot on. Defo needs the cover, so no need to send him off on loan. I'd say summer. We might send him off. There was a comment down there as well. Who said that? Can't remember. But yeah, I think it was Jonathan. You're talking about potential injuries. And yeah, there you go. If you get injuries to a fullback, then Williams might be needed. It's effectively the same conversation could be had about Elanga and Williams. If there are injuries, they might be needed. Fingers crossed then, we don't need to use them. No offense to them, but I don't want injuries, right? Now, one quick word that has to be said about yesterday. You can't ignore what Chelsea did, right? The real winners from this transfer window are Benfica, right? This is a list of players that they have sold. João Felix for 127 mil, Fernandes 120 mil, Nunes 80 mil, Ruben Diaz 71. The list goes on and on and on. And the list totals over 1 billion euros. Benfica, my word. Somebody find out what scouts they've got. And can we just poach them? Do a bit of headhunting, United. Seriously, go and get Benfica's scouts. My God. But yeah, as I said, this and the dangerous precedent it's set. Back in 2003, 2004, Chelsea were taken over by Abramovich and the money came in and it flooded the market and it massively increased the price of players. And it was the beginning of the transition towards this Moneyball game, which we're in now. And Chelsea were one of the first pioneers of it, I suppose. What they've done here is Chelsea have found a loophole in the FFP system, and they've exploited it. That loophole will be closed this summer. I hope full well that it backfires, because Chelsea now have got some serious liabilities hanging over their heads. They've handed out 8-year contracts to Enzo Fernandez and whoever else they bloody signed, Mudryk, mad contracts, so they could spread the cost of the player. So as according to FFP rules, their accounts are actually within limits. But realistically, what they're liable for over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years is crazy. So I really hope it comes back to bite them. And yeah, whatever you think about amortization, whatever you think about spreading the cost of a player over the length of a contract, it's literally called financial fair play. And Chelsea are there with 2 fingers saying, ha, fair play. Nah, how about this? The rules clearly have to be changed and tweaked. More than tweaked. Sod knows. But I think Chelsea in January spent more. Oh, man, the numbers are wild. The numbers really are wild. Madhouse is saying we should have South American scouts. I imagine we do have South American scouts. Of course we do. We'd have scouts in every single region. But can we just get Benfica's, please? Let's just ignore it all. Let's just get Benfica's. I suppose that's why you've got good lawyers when you're a club of that size, Paula, because you can look for loopholes. You can try and understand it. Player amortization has always been part and parcel of it. Man United's over the last few years has massively increased, though. I think we owe, currently, I think Chelsea have just changed that, I imagine. United owe over 300 million to other clubs. So that's considered part of the debt. So Chelsea's debt now is mad. I think they're paying 40 mil up front for Enzo Fernandez. So that means that they've taken on 80 million worth of debt. They owe Benfica 80 million. And that is crazy. It's absolutely crazy what they did. It really is. And it is dangerous for the rest of us. Now, let's move on here. We've got 20 minutes left of the show, and we've got a game tonight. All this craziness around new signings. It's exciting. We've got Sabitzer in. Brilliant. Looking forward to hearing what Ten Hag has to say about him. Looking forward to seeing him holding his United shirt up for the first time. Let's speak about the game tonight. Let's get Ten Hag's comments on the transfer window as a finale, as a finishing point. Speak about his latest comments on Andy Carroll. Then he'll speaks about Martinez as a defensive midfielder, which quite a few of you want to have a conversation about. Speaks about everything going forward. So make sure you drop a like on the video. Let's go in and let's run through Ten Hag's comments. This is what he said in the second part of his embargo press conference, which came out at 10:30 last night. He said, as a manager, you always try to find and make your team better. I wouldn't be a good manager if I didn't make the requests and put it in. If there are opportunities, it's my job to tell the club there are opportunities to strengthen our squad and our team. So Ten Hag there kind of hinting towards the fact that he went to the board and he was like, look, we need an attacking midfielder. Without Christian Eriksen, all the progress we've made this year, all the success that we've had so far, we need another midfielder. He said, look, it's about them. It's about the Manchester United's board. And so about financial frameworks. What is acceptable, reasonable, and what is not? What do we need to fulfill our ambitions? And always we have to also follow that. Does it match with our policy and our strategy? And that's the big thing that we've just spoken about there quite a few times. Everything is towards a policy. Everything is towards a strategy. And that's why, for me, this signing, I think, is going to be successful, and why I trust what Ten Hag is doing. Everything, it feels, is heading in the right direction. Everybody's putting in the right direction. Get your predictions in for the game a little bit later on. I can see them firing down there. It's just, isn't it? It's so goddamn satisfying to look at your club and just think and just feel that it's operating kind of as it should. Of course, we need new owners, and that's coming in. It's the 1st of Feb, right? February, there's going to be so many live streams on here. We're talking about maybe Dubai coming in with a bid, Saudi Arabia coming in with a bid. February is going to be even crazier than January was. Football and United right now is absolutely mad. It really is, and it's only going to get crazier. And we've got the League Cup final coming up in February. If we can get past Forest tonight. Big old month, February. It's normally a bit of a quiet month. Not this Feb for United. We can't sign half the players Benfica do because of work permit rules in the UK. Raw talent always needs to play in Europe before they qualify. Yeah, that's kind of a fair point, Jibak. And I've said that before in that Benfica and the Portuguese league, the kind of same thing as Dortmund. They have the ability to allow these players to grow into the stars that then get signed by Premier League clubs for 100, 150 mil. So yeah, they are in a little bit of a, you could say, a privileged position, but it's a very good business model, which certainly works for them. Moving on from Ten Hag, what Ten Hag said about there, he spoke in depth a little bit more about the Andy Carroll tackle. He said, I'm disappointed about that. I think football has to set limits, restrictions to protect the players. What football wants is the best players to be available on the pitch. This is the tackle and the 2 tackles after it that do not belong on the pitch because there is a high risk of injuring your colleague. So it's worse. And I'm left wondering about that. And it's hard not to just be pissed off and moan at the officiating when the referee is, look, I'll zoom out a little bit. He's like 4 yards away. He's 4 yards away from him, and he's seeing Andy Carroll, both legs off the ground, full weight into a scissoring tackle onto Eriksen's standing foot. How on earth is that not a red? Fabinho's tackle the other night. How on earth was that not a red? Ten Hag's right to stand up and sort of defend the players because that's kind of a hark back to the old English game when it was just about bruising. It was bruising tackle. It was a far more physical game, but the technical quality in the Premier League has just gone up and up and up, and it's making for better football. It's making for better footballers. But Andy Carroll there, taking it back somewhere else. So Ten Hag's right to point it out. Officials have got to get on top of this shit because it's happened quite a few times this season. Not just with United, but the example there of Andy Carroll. You know, Martinez got elbowed to the face and just bust his eye open the other day. It's happening too often. It has to stop. And yeah, VAR was useless. What is the point in having it? I think that maybe we're scrutinizing it a little bit more because we have more camera angles. We've got VAR, so there's more visibility on it. But it does feel like refereeing now is as bad as it's ever been. Maybe it is worse than it's ever been. Moving on to the next talking point from Ten Hag, and he's confirmed that Scott McTominay is going to be missing for a couple of weeks. He said Scott McTominay is not available for the coming week, 2 weeks, maybe even longer. So we don't know now how long McTominay is going to be out for. So not only is Christian Eriksen out until late April, early May, so effectively the end of the season, Scott McTominay is going to be missing for 2, maybe even more. 2 weeks, maybe even more, which again, this is why we went into the market yesterday. This is why we had to. This is why signing a player like Sabitzer was not a want yesterday. It was an absolute necessity. You can't be in 4 competitions and have, 2 fit central midfielders? Ten Hag's had to really work with what he's got. Pretty much all season, Man United haven't had a fit number 9 until Weghorst came in, and now he's playing every week. And at some point, he's gonna tire. We need to be able to rotate him, but we can't. We need to wait for Martial to be back. He'll be back in the squad tonight. Let's see what happens there. Now we've got hardly any central midfielders who are fit. It's tough, and this is why we need to have a good summer, man. We absolutely need to have a good summer. It's why we need to sign somebody of Frenkie de Jong's quality, whoever it is going to be. Now I'm going to go down there and see what you're saying about McTominay. With McTominay injured, do you think we'll see Manu and Zidane from the bench? I think we'll probably see both of them on the bench tonight against Forest. You might even see one of them in the starting 11. I'll run through my starting 11 in a bit. But there's no doubt that Iqbal and Manu will be involved in a lot more matchday squads, probably than Ten Hag would have wanted. But he's working with what he's got. And we do have a good starting 11 when they are fit and when they are capable. When they're not, and the injuries come in, the holes in United's team become very apparent very quickly. They really, really do. Next point here from Ten Hag. He's speaking about Martinez going in midfielder. We've spoken about this as a community quite a few times. Quite a few people called for it against Arsenal, and I thought it was a wild call. I didn't think it was going to happen. This is what he said when he was asked directly about it. He goes, he did it before for Ajax. This is also one thing that me as a manager, you have to be creative in certain situations. When in other departments, you have players who can't be starting 11 players. I can only play one player in that position. Maybe we can move the departments and be creative to form the team. So maybe there is a chance, right, that at some point this season, we'll see Martinez starting in central midfield for United as defensive midfielder. I don't personally want to see it. I'd rather he stays where he is, where he's been brilliant for Manchester United as a left centre-back. But given the quality in depth that we've got in midfield, or the lack of it, we may well see Martinez playing there in the same sense that we saw Luke Shaw playing as a left centre-back. And we were like, what? We're all blown away by it. Maybe Martinez will step in there in a game or two where he needs to. 90% of his appearances between now and the end of the season, we're going to be seeing Martinez play as a left centre-back, which is what he should be playing. But basically, Ten Hag is saying here, look, I might have to get creative sometimes. And maybe that's going to be seeing Martinez play as a defensive midfielder. I'm going to see what you think about that down there in the comments. He could try Martinez. He could well do it tonight. Maybe that would be a perfect opportunity to try it. Play Victor Lindelof there as left centre-back. Maybe Lindelof and Maguire with Martinez as a central defensive midfielder. Give a little bit of a rest to Casemiro. You could technically try it. Ian, you're saying it's situations like this where young players break through. Rashford, of course, came when after Martial was injured in the warm-up against Midtjylland, and, well, the rest is history. And I'll say it one more time. How cool is that? That piece of art there from Stan Chow. I love his artwork. It doesn't pay me anything. I buy them all, but I like supporting what Stan Chow is doing. Manchester-based artist. Couple of lads I go to the games with as well. I think they're going to be grabbing one. Yeah, it's the best one I think I've seen so far. I really, really like it. Let's move on to the next talking point. Last 5 minutes of the show here, ladies and gents. We've got a game tonight. All this madness, all these conversations and shit. We've got a game of footy tonight. Every 3 days, relentless. It's a good thing, right? United are in the League Cup semi. We're still in the FA Cup. So what happens when you go well in the competitions? You're going to get a busy schedule. United have definitely got that. And in really big news, Erik ten Hag here has confirmed this. Anthony Martial and Jadon Sancho both will be in the squad. He goes, we have some issues. I think tomorrow that Martial and Sancho will return in the game squad, but McTominay will be absent. So tonight is that night. Tonight is where we will see the return of Jadon Sancho. Something that a lot of us have been excited about for a long old time. I believe the last time he played for United was, I think it was the 22nd of October. Towards the end of October was the last time that Jadon Sancho played for Manchester United. It's a long time that he's been given to recuperate. He's been given longer than a preseason off mid-season. It's unprecedented, really. But that's how much time and space that Erik ten Hag felt that he needed. I'll tell you what, Jadon, man, like let's come back and let's absolutely just smash it out the park. He'll have all the support of all United fans, without doubt. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Do you think he'll start? You let me know in the comments below. But look, the predicted 11 that I put out yesterday, I'll explain it here because it's a little bit wild. I had a back five that didn't really change. I went Butland for his debut with a back four of Manasseh and Delo. Depends if he's fit or not, right? Of course, it depends whether he's fit or not. With Maguire and Lindelof as the two centre-backs. In midfield, I kept Casemiro and I kept Bruno in. And I actually put Zidane Iqbal there. I'd like to see what he could do there. And for me, I think Forest feels like the right environment. And the fact that he would be playing with Casemiro and Bruno would give him a little bit more reassurance inside that midfield role. But maybe I'll be wrong. And I went for a front three, as you can see here, of Garnacho, Anthony, and Sancho as a false nine. And the reason I've done that is this. Sancho could technically play on the left-hand side, right? But that's where Rashford's been playing. And Garnacho has been chomping at the bit. So I think the Garnacho will start there. I think if he doesn't start there, I think he'll be pissed off. And I think Ten Hag will manage that correctly. You could see Sancho starting over Anthony. That could quite easily happen. But I think the way that Anthony's played in these last few games, I think Ten Hag will want to keep Antony in the team. I think his momentum's quite good. And if he can go and then get a goal, maybe even 2 goals against Forest at home, it will just help his momentum gain another few notches. And that's why I think he'd keep Antony in the team. And therefore, if Sancho is going to return, I think he'd come in for Weghorst and play as more of like a false 9. Because I think Weghorst needs a rest. But also, is he going to be fit to start? Look, you may well see this, right? Erik ten Hag has confirmed that Martial and Sancho will both be inside the matchday squad. We don't know who's going to be fit. We don't know who's going to start and who's not going to start. But if Martial's fit to start, maybe Martial comes in straight away for the first half and maybe Sancho comes in for the second half. That could happen. I'm going to go down here, see what you're saying in the comments. Andy, of course, there, look, Facundo Pellistri. We've got options. I imagine Pellistri will get 20, 30 minutes, maybe even more on that right wing. I think him and Antony will kind of switch positions. I think Antony, personally, I think Antony should start. I think it's more important that we continue this momentum with Antony. What we're saying down here, I want the old Sancho sprinting down, mate. I'm looking forward to it. Garnacho, Martial, and Antony, you think, Jonathan? Sancho on and later in Pellistri? It could happen. We've definitely got options. I think I'll be very surprised if I get this starting 11 right. I've got no idea what to expect. What's your predictions? Everyone fire your predictions in now. I'll try and bring as many up on screen as possible. I went for a 3-1 United. I think this team will still... Nottingham Forest, they've got to come at us tonight, right? And that's going to leave space in behind. And that's why, with the front attackers that we've got and with the pace that we've got, we will probably concede quite a few chances tonight. Hell, we might even concede a goal or 2. We will get plenty of chances too. That's what I would predict. This Nottingham Forest team will leave spaces in behind because they have to. They have to attack. Exactly there. Glenn, they've got to attack. So we've got to stay up on the counter is exactly what I think we'll do. And it's a smart and correct thing to do when you've got a 3-0 lead. You haven't got to go out here and go with a relentless pace at Nottingham Forest, try and win the ball in the final third. You've done all the hard work. Let's not risk injuries. Let's play it safe. United need to just keep it in second gear and control this game tonight. I don't think it's going to be a spectacular game. I don't think it's going to be one of our best performances, but it doesn't need to be. The first leg, the hard work was done. Hashim, you're saying, I think Ten Hag should try Martinez in midfield tonight and rest Casemiro. We'd need more bodies to help with midfielders' absences and be ready. Yeah, well, you could well see that. Let me read some of your predictions out down here. Pharrell, you're going for a 4-0. Kelechi, jeez. You're going for a 5-0, a 4-0. Neil Jackson, you're going for a 3-2. Trees, you're going for a 4-2. Lee, you're saying, do you not think Bruno gets a rest? Dude. Any time I've ever predicted any player to get a rest, I've got it completely and utterly wrong. And Bruno Fernandes, of all the players in this United team, somehow he played... I don't know how he plays every 3 days at the pace that he plays football. But he seems to be capable of it. It blows my mind. It really, really does. 6-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-0. Our favourite scoreline. I nearly got it right against Reading, and then that goal obviously ruined it. 3-1. All about control. You're right there. Oh, Daisy, I see you there. 2-0. Gary saying if Casemiro's... Casemiro. I sod it. Let's get it up on screen again. I don't care what you say. This is worth 20 seconds of your time, people.
Casemiro. La, 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 la. Casemiro. La 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 la. Ni él se lo cree. Qué remate pateó a lo Bruno Fernandes.
That is so good. That really is so good. That has to get started somewhere. Really does. But look, I think United will win tonight. I think United should be in control tonight. And as for the starting 11, it's anybody's guess. We all thought that Ten Hag was going to make huge changes against Reading, and he didn't. But it worked out. Well, apart from the Christian Eriksen injury. But the big story of today is welcome to Marcel Sabitzer. We're going to be hearing at some point, hopefully today, maybe his first video interview. Maybe we're going to see first pictures of him holding up a United shirt. I'm looking forward to it. Right, my video is going to be going out literally as soon as this ends. In the next 3 minutes, my tactical video on Sabitzer is going out. 10 minutes of your time where I'll run through how he fits into this team and how that midfield trio, that one there? No, that one there. How this is going to be very exciting to watch. Thank you very much for joining in today. Henrik, this is going to be changed soon. I've actually decided, I thought about it today, It's going to be one more thing for the community. I'm going to figure out a way every single week where the community members decide what mask goes on that statue mannequin every single week. So I'm going to try and figure out the best way to do that. But you as community members, I want you to be able to choose that. But thank you all for tuning in. A bit of a wild day. We've got a game tonight. Let's hope we win. And let's beat Newcastle in the final.